Who are the coolest dudes on the planet?
United States veterans.
What's the coolest sport on the planet?
Pro wrestling.
And what would be the coolest podcast on the planet? That would be this one.
U.S. military vets talking pro wrestling.
This is the No Shave Man Cave. Two badass disabled vets sharing their love of pro wrestling, giving you their perspective as fans, talking about current events and matches, history of titles, and who knows what else. Let's do it.
Welcome to the No Shave Men Cave. Now your hosts, Ellie Jair and Jay Tilley.
All right, fam. Welcome to the 20th of February, National Love Your Pet Day edition of your No Shave Man Cave Friday night review, where we will be covering WWE and AEW. I'm Ellie Jair.
And Jay Tilley.
Welcome. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm glad you got the month right this time.
Oh, hey. I am so excited for April, man. WrestleMania.
Yeah.
We're planning to be at WrestleMania next year, listening to what some of the other podcasts are doing, getting ready for WrestleMania. We got the boys over at Busted Open are going to be at Whiskey A Go-Go on the 1st, April Fool's Day. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Whiskey A Go-Go, but their drink special is like a Jaeger and a Miller Lite for like $4.
Oh,
That's a hangover waiting to happen. But I tell you, I am super psyched, especially after what we saw on Friday, what we saw on Saturday, and the talk of what we're going to hear and see on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. I can't wait. I almost wish we could come up with a way to go this year, to be honest with you, because it's shaping up. Man, just the idea of Cody and Roman and that main event and the possibility of what's going to happen there, that'd be great to go. But, unless everybody starts donating to our Buy Us a Coffee fund.
There it is, Buy Us a Coffee. And if it was I'm bumming a bourbon something.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yep. Buy me a WrestleMania ticket.
There you go.
So, yeah, I guess we'll start plugging that, too. We did actually start up because, as we joke about, we are two disabled vets on a fixed income. So I did start us up a Buy Me a Coffee page. No Shave Man Cave. Just look us up if you want to donate. I think I actually changed it to Buy Me a Beer. So, anyway, out there that wants to, feel free. Obviously, no obligation. As we get bigger and better, we'll probably do Patreon or something like that. But we're actually going to record another episode later to talk about the state of affairs with what we're doing and what our plans are. Yeah, but let's get right into Friday. We're a little late on it. Unfortunately, we're a little under the weather on Saturday. Sunday had some family things going on, so we couldn't quite hook up to do the show on Saturday. So actually, the Smackdown review will probably be pretty quick because usually when we review, we prognosticate.
Yeah.
And a lot of the prognostications mute right now because of Elimination Chamber.
Right.
After this one, we're going to turn around and do an Elimination Chamber recap and review, and then probably do some prognosticating as to what the results from Elimination Chamber are going to lead to.
Absolutely,
but I'll start us off with SmackDown, man. So we open the show up with Jarrett Memorial little slide, which is great. Love the respect.
Yeah.
I was glad they did that. WWE is really good at those. So I expected it. Then we had a recap of last week. Okay, cool. Then we had Natalya and Shotzi versus Ronda and Baszler. Tag team match. What I thought was interesting, though, is the first match didn't start till like 15 minutes into the show. So they did a recap. Then they did like a 10-minute recap. I think they talked about Elimination Chamber. And then they jumped right into the to the match. It was okay. Decent match. You had some back and forth. Shotzi did some pretty gnarly looking DDT on Ronda on the apron that was tight. So they did it once before, and I think they botched it. So I almost feel like this was them going, hey, we can show you we can do this, because Ronda took that bump like a champ.
Yeah,
So
she
that was
did
a
really
pretty
well.
cool bump.
Yeah,
I
she
enjoyed
sold
that.
it really well, and she has been knocked in the past. She being Rhonda, Rhonda's been knocked in the past for her no sell or lack thereof selling, and just I think her working with some of the producers that they've got backstage. And I was looking at some of the producers for Elimination Chamber, really impressed with Jamie Noble and Tyson Kidd. They put in some really good work. Um, and then the general manager Pierce, he's been doing a lot of stuff. So Tyson Kidd and um, P.S. Michael Hayes have been doing a lot of work with the women's matches and stuff, and it really came out during the Elimination Chamber. But it's really more apparent with like Ronda Rousey's work, and then she's riding the road with Shayna Baszler, and Shayna Baszler has grown so much over the couple of years being on the main roster. So
Yeah.
I think that's what you're seeing.
Yeah, matter of fact, I've got it in my notes over there. Is the I literally what I have is Rhonda has obviously been working on taking bumps in her facials because I thought out of all the times I watch her, usually she tries, "Oh, I'm hard, I don't get bumped or whatever it seems like."
Yeah,
And I thought for sure this match, I could tell the difference. I could tell whatever she's done in the little time she took off. Excuse me. It whatever she did worked because I watched this match specifically and was like, all right, Ronda's looking pretty good. Like she's taking those bumps. That bump, that DDT on the apron was, chef kiss it.
yeah. I was
It was
like,
really good. It was nice looking.
boom, hit the move. Yep.
Yep. And it ended with Ronda getting Shotzi to tap out with an armbar. About an 11-minute match. Nothing really huge. No implications going forward other than building a Ronda and Shotzi, in my opinion. Uh, yeah, that was about the first match.
Yeah.
Then we had a recap of Sami Zayn and the whole Bloodline story, part one of it. After that, we have Hit Row in the ring, and literally, I have WTF is Hit Row doing? It
Yeah.
was awful.
There was I think it was Ric Flair put a thing on there like he's a big Hit Row fan, and he made a comment, just break them up already. So they're very charismatic, very like now very hip, and the way they're being booked, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, and the rap was awful, and it might have been on purpose, but it was brutal. Luckily, and I never thought I'd say this, Bray Wyatt comes out and interrupts.
Mm,
So, yeah, Wyatt and Uncle Howdy come out, interrupt them, basically clean him out of the ring, and then we get Bray, I guess, setting up his WrestleMania match for at the time we didn't know, which I won't say it because if you haven't watched Elimination Chamber, I'm not going to give spoilers.
yeah,
He put out his challenge to whoever wins the Brock Lesnar Bobby Lashley match, which I thought was an interesting call out. I
yeah,
don't think either pairing is something I would actually be like, well, that's going to be about, that's a 5-star banger right there.
yeah. And a couple of the comments that have been made on some of the other podcasts and uh, streaming services, and the talking heads of wrestling journalism or whatever, is if he's going to have a match, hopefully it's the old Bray, not the spooky magical masked Bray. Obviously, he
Yep.
would come out, do his entrance and stuff. But if it's the Bray of old, I think that would either one of them would be fun because it's they're big dudes and
Yeah.
they'd be slapping around, and Bray can go. So that I think that would be fun. Him and Bobby would be a lot of fun. I don't know how many suplexes Bray would want to take from
Right.
Lesnar, but ooh, man, there'd be some thunder in that match.
Yeah. The spooky thing won't work because neither one of them, in my opinion, is going to sell being afraid of spooky. Well, I mean, LA Knight really didn't sell it either, which is okay, I guess.
Mm.
But yeah, it's an odd pairing.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was it is what it is. Hit Row, yeah, they did what they did. Then we had a recap of the Intercontinental Tournament with Madcap Moss winning. and then we had a little backstage segment with Madcap, which was odd. It was like a different kind of character almost. Oh, like this cocky, arrogant. I didn't get it. It was so off from what we've seen him in the past. And to me, felt like a drastic change that was just kind of weird.
Yeah, it didn't feel organic. It was like, okay, we just flipped the switch. You're now a kind of like a Waller type
Yeah.
character, and with Emma being there, yeah, you can do it, babe, that kind of thing. But
Yep.
it just, yeah, it missed with me. And it's cool to see Madcap Moss, and we were jokingly, we mentioned Madcap Moss, and and then he pops up, like we're like, oh, he's the number one contender now.
Yeah.
So
Yep. And then we had some Ariel Hawani stuff. Okay, so what? Like, I didn't understand all the plugs with him, and then through Elimination Chamber, I just thought it was weird. But it is what it is. He was on the show. And then we had the next match finally, which was the Viking Raiders and Drew and Sheamus.
oof.
But fun fact, it was 43 minutes between the end of the tag team match with the women and then the Viking Raiders match. 43 minutes of SmackDown. That when I watched the next day, I just went, oh, fast forward. You watch it live. Like I said before, I watch it live as kind of like a fan to just enjoy it and be there and I watch it and don't fast forward. And sometimes I regret that. But I do enjoy when I come back to review it to go, okay, let me get my notes. I can go, oh, sweet, 3 hour or 2 hour SmackDown is done in, I just cut 45 minutes out because it was quick.
Yeah. With Hawani, him being a Montreal guy and his connection with ESPN, and he's done like 3 or 4 interviews recently with Cody, with Triple H, and he had Charlotte. Charlotte was on as well.
Right.
So they're almost like WWE's trying to make their media more reputable. But I don't think Hawani is with ESPN anymore, because the main reason why they hired him is so he could cover UFC matches. Come to find out, Dana White won't let Ariel into UFC matches. So you're like, okay, well, there goes that.
Yeah, I don't know the story behind that. I heard that too, which is interesting because he also burnt the bridge with Tony Khan just recently.
Ooh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can do a rumors and roundup on that whole thing, but I just, I'm not going to get too much into it. I don't want to get too much of the wrestling politics, but I definitely feel like it was not a fair shake. And the comments he made about Tony Khan not answering questions didn't make sense to me because what he was asking Tony Khan, he literally couldn't talk about because of legal reasons. Yet when he had Triple H on, he didn't talk about any of the legal things going on with Vince McMahon at all. Didn't even touch him, didn't go around him. So it was just kind of, but anyway, I know like if I put that on Twitter, it'll blow up and everybody will be mad at us and the WWE fans will go one way and AEW fans another. So,
right.
But
it was, it was interesting. And, Michael Cole made his little comments, which I think was more fun than anything, but we'll see what comes of that.
Well, I'm just curious if the Acclaim have a match on Wednesday.
Listen.
Yeah, I'm dying to, because he's going to say something about it. So I'm dying to know what that listen is going to be all about.
Yeah, we got to find out where is Dynamite emanating from? Are they out of Texas now? And it's going to be a.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they are actually. I have to look that up. But yeah, so then we get the Viking Raiders and Drew and Sheamus. I guess they'll blow off to their feud. I'm not sure if they're going to pull that all the way out to WrestleMania or not. I hope not. But the match was decent. Two big men smacking man meat, as they would say, which is gross. But it was a big man match. I will say I made notes about Drew. And again, this is probably because of me being somewhat of a lapsed WWE fan. I don't think I've paid as much attention to Drew. I know who he was and everything going on, but that guy can move. Like some of the stuff he was doing in the ring, I'm like, okay. The dive over the top rope and his kip up. It's not as smooth as Sammy Guevara's, but it was pretty smooth for a
Sammy
big dude.
Guevara's kip, that little at the end.
Yep.
Boom.
Oh, he just makes it look, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had that written down as like, all right, that was pretty impressive. Not a whole lot to talk about on the match. It was yeah, it was there. I think it ended with a Claymore for the win.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was a match that happened.
Yeah, they had to get it in.
Yep.
Just a quick shameless plug. I know we're going to get into AEW next, but they're coming out of the Valley of the Sun in Phoenix, Arizona, at the Footprint Center. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, so
That's where they're going to be
for
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. All right.
Listen.
Then we had the part 2 of Sammy talking about the bloodline stuff again. Then we had Asuka's entrance, which I was like, all right, right into a match. Nope. Asuka, poor Asuka had to sit in the ring for like 8 minutes before they actually got to her match. Because then we had a backstage with Rey Mysterio recapping the Santo Escobar and Rey Mysterio mask swap, which is cool. I'm glad they did that. I don't know where they're going to go with it.
Yeah.
It was just maybe it was just a cool moment, and that's what they're going to leave it at. Don't know. Don't know if it's going to play into the Dom thing later. Maybe Dom's going to get upset because his dad gave his mask to, Escobar instead of him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then we had Karrion Kross interrupt Bray, which I thought we were done with that feud, but obviously not. Talked about how bad of a father he was, blah, blah, blah. Literally, I have written blah, blah, blah
Yeah.
on my thing. And then we got into the Asuka versus Liv match. I really hated and liked this match at the same time, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought the match itself was really good. I could have done without all the Elimination Chamber people coming out. Because they had a really good chemistry in the ring. They're hard hitting. I mean, I was really impressed with Liv in this match. I've seen her do some stuff, and I've been impressed with a lot of her stuff. But this one, almost like it let Asuka go back to her old school style, and Liv was taking those hits.
Yeah.
And then she was giving them right back. And I thought this match was perfect, except for Carmella, and except for all the bullshit, about that came out with the elimination. Just let them have their match. I think if they just had a match, talked about the Elimination Chamber, or at the end had them come out, it'd have been much better. I just felt like it distracted too much from the fact that these two were putting on probably one of the better female matches I've seen in a while. And it just kept getting distracted with crap.
And what could have been the best match of the night, because even though it was a go home show, it was sort of like a mail in show too.
Yep.
And and this is like 3 shows in a row where they paraded people out around the ring as almost as if they were going to do like a lumberjack match or something.
Yeah.
Just let them go and let them get ready for the Elimination Chamber, which I mean turned out to be great. So I hopefully they take notes and go, well, we probably overdid it with the parading around, and Carmella is so over the top. She's not quite like the Vicky Guerrero, excuse me, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of things like I like when she took over color commentary. Like I got a kick out of that when she was kind of doing it because they were distracted. But I literally in my notes I've got this would have been so much better without all the other shenanigans going on around the ring. Because I definitely would like to see those two run it back. And we'll get an Elimination Chamber, but I felt like they kept Liv pretty strong in Elimination Chamber too. So the possibility is there to maybe have a little mini program rolling into WrestleMania or whatever they do.
I think they did. I think they did good for this match, protecting everyone. Because it did seem like there was a lot of fodder, and it could potentially be setting something else up. So we'll see what comes of that. So.
Yep. Then we had Hawani again. I got so what. Then we got a little bit from Gunther, and then we rolled right into the Madcap and Gunther match. Gunther pretty much just talked about he doesn't care who he's fighting, and he was out there. Yeah, I like Gunther a lot. Watch this match again, Labs fan, so I haven't really paid as much attention to him. I did watch him back in the day with some of his British wrestling stuff, and I had heard that he'd gotten away from that. But watching this match, I'm like, no, he's pretty much the same. Very old school style, slow, methodical, slap the crap out of you. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And then he did that awesome sleeper into, like, as he's passing out, into the power bomb for the win, beat Mad
Yeah.
Cost pretty quick. I think it was about a 10-minute match. Nothing major to write home about, but yeah, that was it.
I feel like it moved Madcap up the card a little bit, so that gives him another big guy to work with. Maybe he gets into a program with Sheamus and McIntyre when they're done. If it's going to be a tag team situation, or if they're going to get into a 3-way come WrestleMania with Gunther for the Intercontinental title, and then that may set up a feud because Sheamus wanted to win it and McIntyre did, or McIntyre was the first title he ever won. He wanted to relive glory days as the chosen one, something. So that may set
Yeah.
up, some kind of program. But yeah, Gunther looks, oof, just he's, from Walter till now, he's totally rebuilt his body. When he moved to the
Yep.
roster and moved to the States, I don't know, like, I don't, oof, he must
Yeah.
live in the performance center, because dude is yoked, and good for him. Really, really happy for him.
Yeah, he looks great. Big cigar smoker too. So that
Yeah,
was
I
kind of,
saw the
he and I got that in common.
yeah, I saw that the photo that they did with him, um, talking about how he was so glad when he was able to rebuild and have his entourage back together. So that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. And that was the last match of the night. Final thing we got was Sammy rallying the troops. Is how they did it, and oh my gosh, what a pop!
Yeah,
Ooh-wee. I think I timed it as 6 to 8 minutes of nonstop cheering, chanting, singing his name, everything.
yeah,
And every time he'd go to get the mic, he would, stop because they were getting loud again. And then he ended
yeah,
up talking and getting very emotional. Didn't say a whole lot. It was pretty much your standard. I'm going to win at the chamber match. I'm going to win. Blah blah blah. But yeah, everyone. Um, yeah, it was great. He points to the sign, talks about everybody pointing to the sign,
yeah,
and how he's not pointing at the sign. He's pointing at Elimination Chamber. That's what his focus on, and how it's the biggest night for his career. And it
yeah,
was good stuff. Very, yes, way to go. I have some notes in here, but they're pointless now because Elimination Chamber happened, so I won't go over them right now.
yeah,
But I definitely was impressed with the show parts of it. So yeah, I thought it was a decent promo to get the fans riled up. I love the pop. That was the best. I will say the pop I thought spoiled a little bit of what happens at Elimination Chamber, because I felt like they gave him his feel good moment before what was going to happen in Elimination Chamber is going to happen.
yeah,
Yeah, so that was SmackDown. Not a whole lot on it. I covered it in like 22 minutes.
yeah. I thought for sure that there was going to be like, I thought if Sammy's going to come on, there's going to be something with the Usos, and then I thought to myself, well, wait a minute, not necessarily, because in the past Roman has said, "Hey, I need you guys to stay home,"
Yep.
and then I thought, okay, well, I know Cody's not going to be there because he's not on the card. There's no reason for him to
Yep.
travel, and that would just distract because they would want to keep those two stories apart. But then I thought that they being like Triple H and creative, lay something else out to build on going into or coming out of um, Elimination Chamber. But it was just like, all right, card is started, match, promo, card is over. And I'm like, man, there's got to be something.
Yeah.
And then it was over. I'm like, okay, well, I'm psyched. I'm staying up. I'm watching Rampage.
Yeah, I'll say SmackDown. I understand what you're saying, but I also appreciate the fact that they didn't add anything else to it. I feel for like the first time, especially in this Bloodline story. Let me rephrase that. I feel like with this Bloodline storyline, they're doing a good job of being patient. And one of my
Yeah,
complaints with WWE has always been feud done in like 2 weeks, or oh my god, we have a pay-per-view tomorrow, we need a feud. And I feel like this has been very patient. They could have pulled the trigger and pulled the Usos out, but it would have ruined the surprise to come later. I think this was okay. Like I didn't have a big I didn't have an issue with it. The only thing on the card, other than the fact that it was pretty much a pre-show, is what I felt like. It was like watching the pre-show to the pay-per-view. But I enjoyed the live match. I enjoyed the matches that were on it for what they were.
My rating for WWE this week, I think it's 2.5 beards. That's what I think I gave for Monday night too.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know if I just got my hopes up too high. But yeah, I'd go 2.5 beards on that one.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. 2.5 for that too. As far as go home shows, I don't think either one was blow away amazing, and that's fine because they did a pretty good job at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah,
but yeah, I just I agree. I didn't think it was too crazy, too blow away.
You've been listening to the No Shave Man Cave.
If it's pro wrestling, we're talking about it. Unless we see something shiny and wander off into the woods. If you hang around long enough, we'll eventually come back. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Fire off your comments and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit us up on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at No Shave Men Cave. Y'all be cool, and we'll see you next time on the floor.